Welcome back. It's Trey, the air fryer goat. I got a really cool recipe today for you. It is steak, potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. We're using New York strip steak for our steak today. You can use whatever kind you like. I like the New York strip steak. It's easy to cut and easy to cook. And we're going to use new potatoes. We're going to do new potatoes and Brussels sprouts. You only need a few ingredients. You're going to need salt, black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. And then of course we're gonna use our avocado oil that we always use in our air fryer. So let's go, I'm gonna show you how to do this recipe. First step, we washed our new potatoes already. Now we're gonna slice our new potatoes into halves and fours. You can cut them into fours if you like them smaller, just depending on your desired size. We're gonna take those and cut them up. Now we're going to get our Brussels sprouts. I have already pre-washed these Brussels sprouts. So we're going to slice these Brussels sprouts. You can cut them in half. If you want, cut them in fourths. Just depending on what size you like your Brussels sprouts. I like mine a little bit smaller, so I'm going to cut them up a little bit more. Now these Brussels sprouts are fresh Brussels sprouts. So I noticed the outside leaf of the Brussels sprout was still dirty after I already washed them. So what I'm doing now is removing the outside layer of the Brussels sprouts. I recommend buying the pre-washed Brussels sprouts. They are easier, um, less cleaning. These Brussels sprouts, I did have to wash them 3 times to get them good and clean. Our Brussels sprouts and our new potatoes are now clean and cut in fours. Now we're going to add our seasoning blend to this Brussels sprouts and new potatoes. That's the blend that we mix together, which consists of salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. We're going to mix that all together in our mixing bowl. And now we're going to sprinkle our seasoning over our new potatoes and our Brussels sprouts. We're going to take that same seasoning. Now we're going to sprinkle that on our New York steaks. We want to make sure our steaks are well seasoned and coated with that seasoning. Sprinkle that on both sides of your steak. Now we want to take that seasoning, we're going to rub it into the New York steak. Want to make sure that steak is well coated with the seasoning. So we're going to rub both sides after we sprinkle it. Now we're going to add our avocado oil to our steak. We don't want our steak to dry out in the air fryer. So we want to coat both sides of the steak with the avocado oil. Make sure it's marinated well on those steaks. For the recipe to this meal, look in the description below. You'll see the exact measurements I use for my seasoning. Also, hit that subscribe button for me. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Hit the notification bell also to get notified of my next recipe. Now we're going to take our new potatoes and our Brussels sprouts. We're going to toss them in the seasoning. Want to make sure those are coated in the seasoning well. on those Brussels sprouts and new potatoes. I like a little bit more seasoning on mine, so I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning. You can add as much seasoning or as little as you want onto your Brussels sprouts and new potatoes. So I'm going to put a little bit more of this seasoning on here, and I'm going to toss it again to make sure it's well coated in the seasoning. Next step, I'm going to go ahead and add my avocado oil to this blend here. And then I'm going to toss it again, make sure that the potatoes and the Brussels sprouts are well coated in the avocado oil. I don't want my potatoes to come out too dry, and my Brussels sprouts, I don't want them to be dry either. So I'm going to toss them in the oil, make sure they're good and coated with the avocado oil. Now that we have our steak, potatoes, and Brussels sprouts all seasoned, we are going to put them into our air fryer. Now my air fryer has a steak button that I'm going to hit, but if you don't have a steak button, you can put it on 350 degrees for 15 minutes and let those cook. All right, it has been 15 minutes. Our steak, potatoes, and Brussels sprouts are ready. Let's take them out and plate it. Look at that juicy steak. It looks tender, juicy. The Brussels sprouts are crispy and the potatoes look great. Let's enjoy. All right, so this is the final product. We got our steak, new potatoes, and our Brussels sprout. That looks good. Let's try it out. I have already cut the steak up so I can eat it. I'll pre-cut it. Let's taste it. That's good steak. Can't even talk. We got a Brussels sprouts. These are roasted Brussels sprouts. New potatoes. All right, so now time for our motivational quote of the day, our scripture. Today is coming from 2 Corinthians 12:9, and it states, "And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me." What this verse is saying, when you feel like there's no hope and you're down in the dumps, God's grace is sufficient enough to pull you up and give you strength. So when you're weak, seek God for strength. Hope that blessed you on today. Be blessed and have a great week.